Right, click the links, join channel here over at SubScribeStar, now over at Odyssey. Thanks to the 17 new members over at Odyssey. So Google Gemini AI defames YouTuber heels versus babyfaces, promoting hate speech. People always libel and slander. Those are subcategories of defamation. Defamation is just, you can just use that as the main term. Depends on the permanence of the statement. So heels versus babyface. The thing is, you can go to the Google settings and it shows you where your channel is associated with. And this channel is people watch this channel watch EVS, Myers, Clownfish TV, and Yellow Flash. It's kind of weird. I don't watch YouTube at all because it's all stupid. I mean, I don't think there's anything on YouTube that's worth watching, other than you. No, I think I'm going to include myself in that. Odyssey and BitChute and Rumble are way better. Even Rumble's just a little bit better than YouTube. It's like that little bit makes a big difference where you don't have to say bundles of sticks or you find a euphemism for gay. So the puppet masters have a narrative to maintain. Anyone who's not pushing globalist cancer will be labeled a wrong thinker. And I guess, welcome to the Hugo Boss. Is that his name? Heels versus Babyface? Not too familiar with the guy. He seems like from what I've heard, just a normal human being, which in modern day makes him literally Hugo Boss. Did you mean figuratively? They would be upset if they knew how to read. So they've got a narrative to maintain that if you're not on board, whatever the globalist 1984 stuff that these woke SJWs are pushing, I always put that in the title to scare them away from leaving their long passive-aggressive comments. It's like, woke SJWs in the title. You know what kind of video you are going to get. You have no right to complain. So, God, they're passive-aggressive comments. I should not delete it. I should just leave them up. But I get so angry and frustrated that I just delete them out of rage because I can't respond to them the way they need to be responded to. And, Anyway, so you get labeled the wrong thinker. Even people as mild as the YouTube Phantom Menace Comicsgate crowd were, like Clownfish TV, those people get labeled wrong thinkers. And yikes, my guy, problematic because they don't support Disney's globalist propaganda and Star Wars and Marvel crap. And, Star Wars and Marvel, Disney in its entirety, you're going to see that company just go up its own ass in the next 10 years. So, they think Phantom Menace is, or like, who's that guy? Gary Nerdrotic. They think that guy is extremely problematic. Or Yellow Flash is, Hugo Boss. And you go, what do you base that on? Is everything to these kids just a left wing? So the guy who watches cartoons in Japanese comic books is a far right extremist in their mind. So Gemini is in the news for its anti-white hate speech. Yeah, you can use their words and phrases back at them. And everything is, I feel, appeal to emotion. Where it wasn't just a artificial intelligence Google tool, it was a narrative machine. Where it took your search request or your image prompt and it added terms to push a toxic alt-left narrative, usually to erase European people and substitute them with non-people of the light. So Google is an anti-white hate machine, and they have control over much of the narrative online. And it's more than just that. It's also anti-Christian, it's anti-nationalist, I guess, is the core of it. But they really fear. They tell you what they fear, and they fear people like you coming together in groups without political commissars controlling the speech, which, hint is what you need to start doing. And it's good to see that, people are starting these groups. So what they do is they would take image prompts and they'd add in diverse and black. Usually to the left wing, diversity just means black. It's bizarre, the overrepresentation for some reason. So they do the same with search results, and their AI chatbot is programmed to be anti-white and return all white positivity messages as negative and non-white requests as positive. It's bizarre that it's so bold-faced, but it's kind of a good thing because it brings awareness to the globalist anti-white agenda. And if it encourages you to be pro-white and tribal and start forming in-group preferences, then I'll count that as a good thing. You should always be pro your tribe, especially in face of these outside groups who are trying to attack. In game theory, if all groups act as groups to advance their interests, and your group acts as a bunch of individuals, you'll be destroyed. So wake up, people of the light, form clubs. And it's funny, I heard Salty, this was like, I don't know, 6 months, a year ago, maybe. He was telling people like you to form your own private identity groups. You know, the people of light. I was surprised when he said that. In fact, I was so surprised I downloaded the video. Anyway, so Heels covers pop culture and laughs at SJWs and the whole pronoun nonsense. And I mean, it definitely is nonsense. And that's enough to, gee, it just popped up in the past 10 years. You think it's a fad? Yeah, plot twist, it's a fad. But that's enough to make these mentally ill SJWs outraged, and apparently it's enough to make Gemini label him a wrong thinker, a YouTube guy who talks about, I don't know what he thought, comic books or whatever. But people use Google all the time, and what happens when one of the biggest companies on earth defames you? It doesn't say why Heels is problematic. It doesn't define anything. It's just taking opinions from mentally ill SJWs and labeling him, because they're very active online, where the right-wing groups are just not as active. And the thing is, we also get censored and deplatformed more than the left-wing group, because the mainstream social media platforms are controlled by lizard people. So what effect does this have on advertisers who are going to look into doing business with Heels? It's going to scare them off. That's the point of Google being controlled by lizards. They're a narrative machine used for stochastic terrorism and defamation. And Elon Musk is no angel, but he is calling out the globalists at Google, and they say it'll take months to fix the anti-white bias, which it doesn't. And Andrew Torba is popping in there, and he's explaining that it doesn't take months to fix. And other software engineers are popping in there and say it doesn't take months to fix this. This is a quick fix. But they think that they're hoping that people just forget about it. And so in a few months, when they bring back the image search, nothing will have changed, and it'll just be out of the spotlight for a little bit. So Torben now is working on, he's got AI replacements for Google, which, I mean, it sounds like replacing a Google product. Yeah, and they actually, the Gab AI, the graphic engine, works really well. It's been around for a year now, and the first versions were rough, and they were the creepy AI where, actually, you need an AI graphic engine that will model the earlier AI stuff, because it looked like a horror movie. It looked like a something from outside the universe was trying to communicate to you through these graphics. So that would be interesting if you could emulate the earlier AI, which probably wouldn't be that hard to do. But the Gab AI is working great now, and he says in a few weeks he's going to have a replacement for Google. And right now he's got like a dozen chatbots and graphic engines where you can pick the character you want them to write in, including the Austrian corporal himself, or far right people or far left people, from Karl Marx to whoever you want, famous historical characters. And it works pretty well. The next step would be for Elon Musk to build a computer, a phone, and a tablet, the actual hardware, and then the operating system to go on those platforms, and have have something more user-friendly than, what is it, Unix or Linux, which is, because Elon Musk was talking about Microsoft. And the thing is, when you got a new computer, is you get a partition, there's free programs to create space on the partition, and you can boot dual operating system. So if you want to have whatever the Microsoft came with, the Windows whatever, I don't know what they're up to now, but you can also load more than one operating system. I used to do all kinds back in the day when I was more playing with computers, but you can do a Unix thing, and I think now they have drivers for all kinds of external things. It's like it's a pretty well working configuration. I'm gonna have to get back into that, get back into computing and the hardware side of it, because the way it worked now, it's like they want you to register, and the software's on loans, and there's privacy concerns where they're scouring data on your hard drive, and it's going to a cloud, and if you say wrong think, they might shut you down. And Elon Musk is talking about it online. It's like, credit to him for that, for bringing this stuff to awareness. And Twitter's not perfect. I mean, I still lose accounts every 2 weeks for actually speaking truth to power, for being a base Chad. You're literally Hugo Boss. Whatever. I mean, all speech needs to be defended. Anyway, it's not good when one of the biggest software companies on earth that has massive control of the narrative is saying that Heels versus Babyface as something, which in the big picture is a very small YouTube channel. I don't know, he's probably got 1 million followers or something, but he's not. I mean, he's not a public figure outside the YouTube world. He's just a guy who talks about pop culture, movies, and the thing is, YouTube does not like, YouTube's Google, right? They don't like anyone going against the narrative. And there used to be, back pre-2017-ish, 2018-ish, what happened was first they got rid of, well, Trump got elected. That made everyone Google go crazy. But they got rid of the anti-SJW channels. There used to be thousands of these channels that were just dunking on SJWs, and they were making a ton of money in ad revenue to do it. Then YouTube got some rules about reuse content, and it got rid of almost all of those channels. I think there's a couple. There's one left. The guy who's got the camera on him is like Zero or Z or something, Z Education or something like that. But they got rid of all those channels because that was a narrative. Laughing at SJWs did counter the far left-wing narrative. And then after that, they got rid of like Red Ice, Jared Taylor, American Renaissance, Dr. Duke, Tommy Robinson, all those like right of center channels. And they go, well, it was a pipeline to the right. It's like, so you mean people made up their own decisions to start with the, the controlled ops, Ben Shapiro type of garbage and go further right? It's like, shouldn't they be allowed to make their own decisions? And like, no, that's why Google bought YouTube, because they don't want people making their own decisions. It's why the left can't meme. Like that is a fundamental keystone, I think, in the left of the truism that the left can't meme, because to present a short graphic image, bit of information, present the argument, and you make up your own conclusion. But the thing is, the left has this fear that you'll reach the conclusion of the wrong conclusion, which you will, because the left wing most of the time has bad ideas that can't be defended. That's why they can't present a short meme. They have to be this wordy, verbose nonsense to try to get you to reach the right conclusion, which is really the wrong conclusion. It's like, all your left-wing ideas have been tried before, and it results in people starving to death over and over again, like hundreds of millions of people. It'll work this time. Yeah, so will the Hugo Boss. How dare you say that? But it's like, it's the same thing. It's the lesser, definitely the lesser. Anyway, I almost said of two evils, but I don't want to upset the right wing. Like, why couldn't we just have liberty? Why can't we have nice things? Well, you can't have nice things because you have these fomenters of discord, these Machiavellian Machiavators, the Google types who actually run the country, these powerful billion-dollar NGOs, these, Soros-connected companies where Disney is like the entertainment, is like 1984 good thing. Disney would be the good entertainment branch of the spider, and Google would be like good information branch, good info of the spider, and different connections, but it's all connected to this spider web with who's at the center of the. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys all next episode.